All right, I reckon we might be live there, Greendog.
I reckon we are. All right, so it's the night before Christmas, and we've got SA Time Attack coming up, 18th of February out at Mallala. So we just thought we'd have a. So I reckon we will have a bit of a chat. I've just started hearing my voice with a 30-second delay, so that weirded me out a little bit. And so we're here tonight with Hayden from In Pit Lane. So Hayden, did you want to introduce yourself and let's have a talk about SA Time Attack?
Yeah. So I'm Hayden McMahon, grassroots racer for I don't know, 10 years plus probably now. I've been seen at a few Time Attack events in SA over the years. Normally in a Chrysler, which hasn't successfully raced at one, it always breaks, but competed last year in my 86. Done a lot of hill climbs and stuff like that as well, and I do the pit walk, which is a bit of a video thing I do, making videos, telling the stories of the grassroots motorsport people and their cars and all that type of stuff. Love doing that and getting out and hanging out with all the people, and I'll be on commentary at the Time Attack on the weekend.
No, that's going to be awesome. We would have preferred to have seen you out on track. I was in the com box a bit last year, and I think one of the highlights, the unsung highlights, was watching those sort of, I think it was a group of 3 or 4 of you guys in fairly standard Toyota 86s that were line astern and pretty close. So, yeah, no, that was great to see. And
definitely a lot of fun, those little cars with the stock promises on there.
and you took it upon yourself to do a great sort of video of a few people associated with the event last year. So, yeah, that was really well received as well.
Yeah. Spoke to yourself and a couple of the other guys as well. And I put together a bit of video from Time Attack last year and got it out there and just helping to try to sort of grow this event back, really bring SA Time Attack back on the map, because it's a great event. You guys did a fantastic job running it last year. And we just want to see it. I want it to be here when I've fixed my Chrysler and to get it back out there on that big stage again.
Yeah, no, we've got to see that thing. I've got to admit, when I've seen that ad on track, I've probably rolled my eyes once or twice because it's a big thing and it's got a big wang on it. But yeah, that's the sort of thing that we want to see, something silly at it, SA Time Attack, and then, hopefully see it go fast and reliable. So you probably got that against you being a Chrysler, but yeah, it'd be great to see it back out.
Maybe one day, we'll see.
So yeah, what's SA Time Attack all about? Look, the Evo Club, so it was a bit NGEC, ran it for a number of years, and they built it up to be quite a significant event. And since I think a few people lost enthusiasm, and that club actually folded, there's just been a bit of a gap. And so yeah, we've just been working with the Sporting Car Club. So this is the second year, quite a modest sort of resurgent, but bringing it back. So we've got, what have we got? Nearly 50 cars for SA Time Attack this year. So that's pretty good. So yeah, anyway, I thought better do a little bit of a plug. So yeah, massive thanks to Shannons. So it's Shannons SA Time Attack. The event is the Twilight Trophy. So kicking off about midday on Saturday and running through until the evening, probably about 9 or 10 p.m. Last session under lights, always look great. As always, Shannons have got some good competitions going on at the moment. I got a quote and got another car of mine insured. That's another story. So I've got multiple entries in for this one, but this is the holy grail, I reckon, of the competitions. Winning a trip to Goodwood Revival. I think everyone would want to get over there and see some classic circuit racing, and these guys don't hold back. It's always a good event. Love watching the live stream of that one. So yeah, how to enter, every time you get anything that you currently have insured, which I think is a bit of a change, because quite often
it is actually, yeah. So that is a recent sort of thing. So if you've got 10, 15 cars with us, you get 10, 15 entries automatically through Shannons.
Automatically.
So
it's already insured with Shannons, do nothing, you're done. But yeah, if you take out a new home policy of 5 entries and take out a new motor insurance policy, which I did last week, I put my 5th or 6th car, I think it was, on my policy, then I've got another 10 entries, so I'm guaranteed to win it. So sorry. So thought we'd just talk about some of the cars and some of the classes. So street class, it's more of an SA initiative, and this is the real grassroots of SA Time Attack. Fundamentals are that it's going to be the same engine, same fundamental mechanicals. You can obviously have a bit of a tune, exhaust. Always recommend some basic safety mods. Fundamental thing is got to be running like a street performance type tire, so harder than 200 UTQG, and no coilovers, and that tends to be the deal breaker for a lot of people with modified cars. So this is great. So I reckon you were running your 86. Was that street class last year?
That was 100% street class, so that was dead stock car, and it was good, because a lot of these guys, I suppose, it's a little bit of fettling, a bit of a tune, whatever, but they're not taking it too seriously at this level. I suppose cars are surprisingly really quick. That Evo wagon was very fast, but it's definitely a case where you can still use these cars to get to work if you wanted to do so, before you start getting into the coilovers, the semi-slicks, all the stuff of the higher up sort of categories.
Yeah. And I think one of the highlights last year, and Matt Cowie's coming back again with his Evo wagon. And so the diehard JDM fans always enjoy an Evo wagon. Only so many of them made, and this is definitely a clean example. And Matt's not shy giving it a flogging. I think he was hoping to fettle a little bit more to get a little bit more power, but I'm not sure that he's got there this year. So he'll just be out there, and I think relying on pedaling it harder to go a bit quicker. Some other cars that are in street class, we've got Ben Rawlax back in his Volkswagen Golf. I'm going to just jump ahead here. I reckon I've got him here somewhere. Oh, sorry, car. No, don't have it there. So he was, what that make it over? So it was a Volkswagen Golf that took out the street class last year, which is interesting. Another one that's in street class. There's always a few 86s. This is Matt Zimmerman. What's notable here is he's running the Bridgestone, the RE71. That seems to be of the sort of high performance street tires that fit in that sort of 200 tread rating threshold. That seems to be the go-to. So I reckon you'll see a number of people in street class and in club sprint doing quite well on that tire this weekend. If you want to know a little bit about tires, fun fact, Matt's worked for a long time as an engineer for a tire company. So go and have a chat to him. We worked in motorsports together many years ago. Club sprint class. So club sprint aligns with World Time Attack regulations. So it does fit a reasonable amount of modification. I think a World Time Attack, those cars are actually quite hectic, but I'd still see them locally as being primarily some club level cars. Obviously, coilovers allows a fair few performance mods. The key restriction with club sport is still that tire. So guys to watch out for here will be Ben Holt. He missed last year. I think he had a bit of an engine drama leading into the event. But that thing's got a decent engine, decent box in it. I reckon he's on the Bridgestones this year, so he's probably looking for a bit of a showing. Other one to really watch out for here. Another one that missed out last year. We've got to mention Jonathan Munro. So he'll be keen to go and cut some laps, and he's always run to a club sprint spec. I think he's on a Nankang, one of the newer Nankang tires this year. So interesting to see how he goes there. But I reckon the Got It Rex of Michael Garland coming over from Victoria, that car's really built to the World Time Attack spec for this class. I reckon he's going to be a strong showing.
Definitely a few guys there I'm looking forward to seeing out there. Jonathan Munro is a big one. He's a big advocate for this event. He's a big grassroots motorsport guy, and he's that Lancer is actually a really well prepped car, really well presented car, really fast car as well. So I reckon he might be a bit of a dark horse out there, but it's a pretty packed class. You just got to look through at some of the cars we're talking about here. SCIs, Evos, S2000s. It's a quick group of guys. It's a quick group of cars. A bit of weekend warrior mods to them, and they go quite hard. So it's going to be worth watching for sure.
Who else is in Club Sprint? Yeah, Colin McGaffin. I'm pretty sure he's in Club Sprint. Not sure what tyre he's running this weekend, but yeah, he's always out there just for a bit of fun. Has driven a number of tracks, but I think the last time he actually drove at Malala was at SA Time Attack's previous incarnation back with the Evo Club. So yeah, good to see he coming back on track. Hey, we're talking about Jonathan Munro. A lot of people know that car around the place. The Auto Clinic Rally Art. So that's the what do they call it? The Tiptronic or DSG version of the Evo. So yeah, great to see him getting his car back out on track. If we go back, who else have we got? Club Sprint. Well, the next group we've got is Club R, and we see coming from Victoria, Adam Nakarada. So he placed quite well in Club Sprint last year. He's keen just to see how he goes on his semis. So fundamental difference from Club Sprint to Club R is it does allow you to use a softer a semi-slick. And what this really accommodates that I notice locally is we've got a lot of people that do track days, hill climbs, etc., that already have like a high performance proper semi-slick competition tire on the car. So rather than change the tire to slot back to Club Sprint, or have the car which really isn't as extreme as some of the opens and get bumped up, our predecessors created Club R. So we see a number of hill climbers here. Anthony Norris, this is his sprint and hill climb Nissan Silvia. Yeah, I haven't seen that run at Malala for a number of years. We used to run similar times, probably in the high teens to the 20s.
He's fast. That S15's fast. I interviewed him recently as part of my Legends video. He's very quick, Norris.
Correct.
It'd be interesting to see how that actually goes out here. Like, also, I interviewed Adam Nakarada last year for the Time Attack video, and that car is very well prepped. He does a whole lot of track days, a whole lot of Time Attack events. Unbelievably so. Like, you can set a watch to that WRX showing up somewhere, making it home on the trailer in one piece, and being right up in the pointy end. So Adam can pedal, and that car is really well built. And he took it to the Time Attack last year, to the World Time Attack in Sydney, I believe, and actually had a pretty strong showing there too. So this is a pretty well stacked deck as well.
Yeah, I want to see him go well. And then back on Norris, when we used to run around a few years ago, we were all on let's face it, a slower tyre. With a bit more development of that car in the last couple of years, and seeing his pace at the hill climbs and running a softer Yokohama, I think that's gonna be well faster than it has been in the past. So we've got a couple of regular hill climbers. Mark Ashley in his XR6 Turbo, he'll be out there having an absolute ball. Daniel Kreiser in his GDST Skyline. Now he had been out of that car for a couple of years, so he's keen to get a little bit more seat time. Last year he actually borrowed his dad's 32 GDR, so he'll be keen to go out there and push it around in a rear-wheel drive. Jason Barsh in his AMG. Now he's been focusing mainly on hill climbs and a bit of tarmac rally in that Mercedes AMG, the little four-wheel drive hot hatch. So it'll be interesting to see how he goes at the track. I'm not sure that he's done many laps at Malala in that car. He's no stranger to Malala, previously campaigning a Rex, but he'll be keen to see how he goes. Sean Panowich, I know him from Circuit Excel Racing, and he's quite competitive there. And this is a car that him and his brother have shared for a number of years, the FD RX-7. So, yeah, I reckon that thing's going to go pretty well. But I do note they haven't had a lot of track time in that car, but it's good to see a rotary out there. Damien is pretty keen on the whole time attack scene. He's backed by Kingston Tyre Power, another one of the event sponsors, in his Rex. And yeah, I think that thing's got a lot of performance boxes ticked to suit this category. So he'll definitely be a strong showing. Also be looking out at night. I reckon there might be a little bit of disco tech going on with this car, fingers crossed. So yeah, I see some interesting questions leading up to the event. Who else is there? Kelly Riley, Michael Tassoni, another rotary. You know, this car is beautiful. Like, so the first era of the RX-7 with a pretty well sorted 13B in it. Paul Healy's back in his Evo. He's a very keen hill climber. A mate of mine, Mark Slater's in his S13 Sylvia. This is a full accountant spec S13. It's got eBay's finest in it. But yeah, this thing cuts a lot of laps. It does a lot of hill climbs. I think he'll admit it's not the fastest thing out there, but he just started doing laps and having a good time. And this category suits someone like him who's already got a reasonable tyre on the car. He'll just come out and, as I say, cut some more laps. Kelly Riley's Evo 6. I got a photo of that here. Where was that? I reckon that's the one. Everybody loves a wheels in the air photo.
It's my favorite picture, man. I've got a photo of the crowds like that, and it's so good. You just yeah. I could talk all day about the Adelaide Motorsport Festival as well, but no, it's a good class. It is a good class that we've created there to fill that niche, because there is so much of the hill climbs and stuff in SA, I suppose. So a lot of us guys do a lot of semi-slick stuff, and we've got the gear and we set our cars up for that. And to have a class where we can play in our own pool as well. Like I said, we don't have to compete with the super quick open stuff. We can just sort of run our semis, have a good time, and, you know, have a real pedal of it.
No, for sure. So might go and talk about some of the open cars, and this is one that's one of my favourites.
This is cool as Golden Sloth Racing.
The Golden Sloth, that's right.
Golden Sloth, yeah.
So Justin Miller's Supra, and like I'm gonna call something out here. Like, this is not as modified as you would think some open cars could be, but a fundamental reason why this car gets pushed up is because it's got a significant engine change. And what do people normally do when they want to change their engine? They usually go for something bigger. In this case, he's taken the iconic 2J and got rid of 2 cylinders. So this is a 4-banger. Obviously, it's got a decent hairdryer on it. It really tidies up the weight distribution. He's wide-bodied the thing. And I haven't seen it out for a little while, but a few years ago, this car would be everywhere, cutting laps, just having fun. Justin's a great guy. So really happy to see him coming back out.
And it's funny because I spoke to him at the Motorsport Festival a few years ago, and it's the same engine that they run in the famous racing Supra, the Castrol livery JGTC car, is running the same 4-cylinder sort of engine in this type of thing. So it's not as blasphemous as we all think to put a 2JZ in the bin. And there's more development in this car too. When I spoke to him back then, I believe he had an aero kit in the works. So I think there's a lot of potential there. And it's going to be good to see him back out, because it has been a long time since I've seen this pretty cool car actually out there doing laps.
Yeah, so I think he's pretty keen to cut some laps. I reckon the tyres are probably similar vintage to his last entry, so I'm not expecting to see any records set. But yeah, I just hope that we get some mild weather. He can cut plenty of laps throughout the day. So I think we can't go without talking about last year's winner, and that's Dan Day in the S&J 1000. When it comes to WRXs, this thing's mega. Like, that's all we can say. There have been some changes in the last 12 months. I assume that the paddle shift is new for this year. I know they've done a few events with the paddle shift in it.
I spoke to Dan at Legends. I spoke to him at length, actually, and there is some big changes. So the paddle shift is new, and the paddle shift is beneficial for sure. You watch his onboards, and it's just the control he gets from having that is big. And the other thing is they moved to, I believe he said it was a twin scroll turbo to try to, make it a bit more drivable, make it a bit more actually usable. Like you said, you can wind this thing, they can wind the boost up like 900 horsepower with it, but you can quite easily lose traction the faster it goes. So, it'll be interesting to see how far they open the tap at Malala. And Dan, he can pedal. The guy's very, very quick. He's got history with the Dunlop series and rallying and all sorts of stuff like that, Porsche Cup, whatever. So it's always going to be one to watch. And he went to the World Time Attack last year and held his own with the big cars there too. The open class there, so far as aero and stuff, the SJ 1000 isn't that super developed as the World Time Attack open cars are, but definitely holds his own with them.
No, definitely. And I think that's something to reiterate here is that on the local motorsport scene, this is probably one of the more, extreme cars when you look at the victories that it gets across like the hill climb scene and some of the other sprint events. But fundamentally, it's an all-rounder. It's not built to the limit of one particular event's rules. It's an all-rounder using, let's admit, it's the best of the best of everything, but it's the best of the best that's off the shelf from S&J. So, theoretically, you can cobble all this stuff together and go and have a crack. So it's not an extreme car. It's just got the best of everything, and it does it really well at a lot of events. So, I think Dan's going to be hard to beat, but he'll be pushing because I'm sure he'll be out there to beat himself as well.
Yeah, he's got a lot of that in him. Actually, he's a driven young man.
And another thing that I haven't seen out for a while, and this fits into open. And look, my money's on this being the fastest front spinner. I don't think we've got many front spinners, to be honest, but it's certainly going to hose the Excels. But Gavin Ward's Civic Patch. Got a hairdryer. I don't know how
we've got bits and pieces of carbon fiber splitter going on here and all sorts. Goodness me.
This is the essence of Time Attack, isn't it? This is just throw it all at it, and it looks really well prepared, and he'll be well sorted for this warmer weather that we have this time of year, because I did see a bit of a video clip a couple of weeks ago on one of the really hot Fridays, and he was busting out some serious laps in a bit of a shakedown just recently. So, I'm really keen to see how this thing goes over the weekend. And look at the splitter and everything on this thing. That's cool. Mega.
That's cool, man.
And this is what Time Attack's about, isn't it? Big wing, carbon fiber, splitter.
Yeah. It's big wide slicks. It's got a lot of semis. Yeah. That's Ben Whitaker's car. He's fun fact there, Greendog. He's going to be borrowing. I bought some headlights off this fella here 12 months ago, and he's going to be borrowing them back because I never got around to actually using them. So he's going to be borrowing his own headlights back to put on his car so he can run this car at night time. So he's actually very, very quick little fella too. Pretty well developed 86 for what it is, and it's going to be interesting to see how it goes out there.
So you've just reminded me of something, because I reckon he popped up and asked me questions many moons ago what his lighting requirements are, and so I never actually followed up to see if he'd resolved it. So I'm glad that you were able to help him out there, and I find it quite interesting because, look, I'll be honest, I'm a bit naive. I look here and I see another Toyota 86. So what sort of stuff has this one got done to it? Like if it didn't have functioning headlights, I'm assuming there's a fair bit stripped out of it.
Yeah, it's a pretty racy little car. You can see the big wing and the coilovers and whatever, caged. He's ripped out everything he doesn't need. He does quite a lot of more track days than anything, really, from what I've seen from Ben. But we've got a bit of a leaderboard on the 86 club, I suppose. And he's definitely punching pretty well there. There's some pretty quick cars getting around with the Toyota BRZ whatever thing. And this is one of the pointier ones, along with the Cyberdrive 86 as well. So, it'd be good to see how he gets on. Looking forward to it.
No, excellent. So we got that's Healy's Hill Climb Evo. So he'll be back out again. I reckon he's using some second-hand Hancocks that are mounted on my wheels that he found at Povey's. So yeah, hopefully they fit for him and he can go out there and punch out some laps. We both run a soft Yoki at the hill climbs, and I don't think he's keen to just destroy a set. But I don't know, if the conditions are right, he might just get a little bit cheeky and throw on the hill climb tyres later in the day. So yeah,
things are looking pretty tight, for a top 3 spot there somewhere, and the Advans or whatever they might be is sitting on the trailer, and the weather's looking good. You never know. I know I'd be on him off pretty hard.
Yeah, this is. I can't look this one up. You got the entry list there.
Yeah, we got it here somewhere. This one here would be WRX STI. Wouldn't be Isaac Stevenson, would it? No, that's blue. Hang on. Seriously well organised thing we got going on here, Greendog. That might well be. Which car is this? WRX STI. WRX White. That's not Damien Anderson. He pulled out, didn't he? Damien. That's a shame, man.
It is actually.
It is a big shame. I was looking forward to seeing him out there. He's a good lad. Really sort of wears his heart on his sleeve and really wanted to be there. I think really wanted to be a part of this again. But that'll be a next year sort of job, I reckon, for Damo. I reckon this may be our Jordan Semzik WRX. Or would it be our Russell Greenham WRX, you reckon, Greendog?
What number was that one?
He's 16, Russell Greenham, WRX STI.
And was there a 605? I feel like I might have matched up some number plates or something on this one.
Not sure. We got two white WRXs, Jordans and Russells, but either way, that's I'm partial to a blue WRX myself, but that's a pretty nice car.
This is the blue one we were talking about. I reckon it's got a sequential box as well. This is one that we've seen running around at Legend of the Lakes.
Yeah, I saw this at the hill climb. Yeah, this is a quick car.
Yeah, no, it's a serious car. I think it's got a little bit more development in it and a little bit more seat time. But yeah, it's certainly got some cool bits and pieces on it. I said I was running close to him at Legends, and yeah, I couldn't help but being drawn to the sequential shifter in the thing. So yeah, that's very cool. So yeah, I think we've covered off a few. This is probably really only a bit of a sampler of what we've got coming up this weekend. So I'll come back to us. So yeah, the format is essentially 12:30. I think cars are on track. The first session will be a bit of a practice and a shakedown. That will seed everybody, and then we'll run the rest of the afternoon sessions based on everyone's speed. So they won't necessarily have the same class on track at the same time. We will seed everyone based on speed so that the closing speeds on track aren't too great. all in the interest of safety and maximising the track time. I think with the weather still being close to 30, I reckon probably half of the cars won't do the full session. Anyone that's serious will be going out and punching 2 or 3 laps, and then you're probably going to find the limit of the tyres, etc. I reckon like last year we'll see the Toyota 86s do more laps than anybody all day because they seem to never run out of time.
Yeah, they do run out of brakes. It's the only thing I've changed in my car. I have ran out of brakes in one, and it was a fun drive home. They just take it all day. They're so good, but it's going to be good weather for it. There should be some quick times, and it should be pretty good competition, I reckon.
One thing that's interesting when we do it this time of year, if it does get a little bit warm during the day, it really makes those evening sessions quite interesting. So whilst the track might go away for some people, those cooler air temperatures will really benefit those turbocharged cars. So going into the last 1 or 2 sessions in the night, and then of course the shootout, it'll be pretty exciting to see some of those times tumble.
Yeah, and it's just cool to watch too, to be completely honest with you. Like just literally like just sitting back watching race cars at night time. It's pretty cool. You glow and break this, and they're shooting fire, and they're having a crack. It's a spectator friendly thing. It really is. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah, no, definitely. I think that's the great thing about the Twilight event is that we all, anyone driving gets that unique opportunity to drive at night, but then to stand and watch everything spitting flames and glowing red. That's fantastic. We'll roll straight into some presentations late in the evening. Got about a $5,000 prize pool this year. So, yeah, really, really cool to have a number of partners staying on year after year. So S&J Automotive putting up plenty of goods and services as prizes. Autosport on board again. So plenty of vouchers for class winners and place getters there to go, and everyone knows where Autosport is, and it's the candy shop for anybody that's into anything motorsport in SA.
If you've not gone in there before, go in there, pick your jaw back up off the ground, and then spend some money with them, because they're a good bunch of guys, and they got some unreal flash shiny stuff in there. It's really, really cool.
Yeah, 100%, and it's always a good place to go and do your Christmas shopping in there. Yeah, even if Grandma just buys your socks there, FIA rated socks, so that's fantastic. Kingston Tyre Power, once again, so we've got cold, hard cash. So somebody will be pretty keen to get their hands on that this year. And Speed Socket. I've got to admit something. I finally went and bought myself a Speed Socket set up the other day.
I've wondered about these. Is it good?
It's good.
Seriously.
And I went down to go and pick up the prizes. So Luke's gone all out. So I think it's for Club Sprint class. We've got his, creme de la creme. It's the carbon fiber wrapped unit with their copper nuts, which look the part, but also are super reliable, supposedly, for going on and off. I went down, picked up the bits and pieces, and saw his workshop and set up. It's great. And you know what's really cool about this? Like, it is 100% Australian made. Components are made, machined, or whatever, all over Australia. And he assembles all of this stuff down at St. Mary's, puts it in boxes, and ships it all over the world. But people didn't see, he's had some really interesting customers out there. So there was some Dakar cars. So he specially developed a larger unit to suit the Dakar cars, and they were used in anger quite regularly. So that's mega. And yeah, he's dealing with some other pretty cool projects. So yeah, stay tuned. But regardless, great South Australian product, and I'm saying that because I've seen it, and I've put up my cold hard to go and get it as well. So I look forward to the convenience of the old Speed Socket. And yeah, great guy. So some other bits and pieces. Look, I like to talk. I'll talk about myself. So I'm putting up some Serco and WinMax product throughout the field. So a number of place getters will get some Serco brake fluid. So yeah, that's the go-to for high temperature brake fluid. And for existing Serco or WinMax customers, doesn't matter whether they're my customers or not, but anybody running the product will go into a draw to win another set of brake pads. So that's a pretty good one because we all know that Mallala is a killer on brakes. So yeah, go hard, go hard, and yeah, and I'll sort one lucky competitor out with another set of brake pads. So that's pretty cool. And then on another South Australian product, we've got ULX 110 oil, custom blended oils, again, blended here in South Australia, developed over many years through a diehard passion for drag racing. And yeah, great product used by many people across various levels of performance. I think they call it liquid horsepower. And let's be honest, if it only gives you 1 kilowatt, it's 1 kilowatt more than the other guy. So yeah, no, lots of good stuff to give away. So really thankful to all the sponsors. Obviously, thanks to Shannons for getting behind the event as a whole. And thanks to the Sporting Car Club for, for actually running the event and getting behind this concept. So I've been working closely with Melissa over the last couple of months, been working with Melissa regularly over the last couple of weeks and days, just pulling together different bits and pieces. Today, we put together a really cool show bag that all the competitors are going to get. All the Time Attack competitors get their own race number decal. So I think I posted that up on the social media earlier today. So yeah, hopefully everybody gets a kick out of that. 100%. Without further ado, I reckon I might wrap this up and go and get some shut-eye or start packing up some of these prizes so I can get out there on the weekend.
That sounds like a plan. Thanks for having me on, Greendog. I do look forward to being out there for the Time Attack, watching all the guys give it a good crack. Hopefully see some spectators out there having a good time and getting around the real proper grassroots motorsport here in South Australia. It's a good event. It's like we say, it's building back up to be something really, really special. Sporting Car Club and Nathan, of course, have put in a lot of work here. So we just got to embrace it as a car community. Get out there, support it. And when it comes around time next year, enter it, have a crack. A lot of great prizes, a lot of great people. Cool vibe too. Really cool, unique experience racing at night time. And just be a part of it. That's what it's all about. No point standing at home and saying, gee, I could go quicker than these guys with your broken race car in the shed. Fix her up, get it out there, have some fun. That's what it's all about. Yeah,
100% well said. Thank you very much. And if you are going to come out there, I have had a few people ask the question. We probably haven't been clear on this because we haven't got any links to ticketing, and that's because it is free. All right. So if you come out, get out to Mallala Saturday, free to spectate. Love to see you all there. Come out, have a look at the cars, shoot the breeze with all the drivers. This is, great grassroots motorsport with some cool equipment.
And they're cool dudes too. I come up to these people with a camera and they don't tell me to go away. So if I can pull that off, you can go up, say good day to the boys, ask some questions. If you've got a similar car, if you're just curious about what goes into it, because, we'll all talk about our cars and our builds for until the cows come home. So don't be afraid to ask questions and say good day because the boys love it. And it's what it's all about. That's the difference between this grassroots stuff and the more serious, very serious stuff that it can be. So it's what it's all about, all the good fun.
All right. Awesome. Well, thanks very much. And we will see you on Saturday.
Thank you.